The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing. Here's your host, Matt Hansen.
It's a Mastering Local Marketing podcast. Try to talk to you about your business, about your brand, some things that we can give to you that might help you out. We got a lot of experience in this. And Matt Hansen is a clinical professor of digital marketing. He just ran the digital marketing competition for an international thing. And are you having fun yet with this, Hansen?
Yeah, I love doing this every week. You know, sitting down and just kind of talking marketing because I don't get to do it that often. I'm working with clients and all of that, and I'm working with students on I only have one class that I teach a semester, and fortunately I have freshmen this year, so they don't really know all of the things that they need to know yet. But I just love kind of sitting down each week and going, all right, what can we talk about? What is something new? What are people looking for? And I think today we wanted to kind of go a different direction. We've got Tatunda back from the last episode, but we are today going to do something different. And I told Tatenda to stick around, because I think he can add some value here. But we're going to set up a situation, right? So let's say that tomorrow you're going to launch a brick-and-mortar store, and you put all of your money into launching this store, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter what it is at this point, but it could be a restaurant, it could be a shopping retail store, whatever it is. But you have no marketing left over. No dollars to spend on marketing whatsoever, and now you've got to get to 100 customers in 30 days. And what sparked this? You're probably like, where in the world, where are you coming from, right, when you do these types of things? But I was sitting there, and I was listening to, I don't know if it was a podcast or it was a social post that was online, but the guy was talking about could you make $1 million in the next 365 days. And roughly about, most people say, oh, there's a 1% chance I could do that, or a 0% chance that I could do that. And the guy goes one step further and he goes, okay, in the next 365 days, could you make $1 million if something bad was going to happen to you or your family on that last day? And everyone's like, I could do it, right? And it was all of these things that people were like, I would make it happen. That's a very dark way to start, but what I'm saying is, if I challenged you and I said in 30 days you got to get 100 customers, you're going to hear a ton of people that make excuses. Oh, well, I didn't have any marketing dollars. Oh, nobody's really knows who I am yet. It's all of these kind of things, right? And I sat there and I said, well, why don't we do a podcast episode on this and say, all right, you have 30 days, go. What would be the first thing you do? And it's not sitting in your restaurant or in your retail store and saying, well, hopefully they're going to show up, right? And I just started brainstorming different things, and I thought, well, let's just have a conversation about that today. So you open the store, right? The door's open, as if somebody just drove by honking at us, but
we're live.
We're live, right?
Just so everybody knows, we're live on AM 1230 and 104.7 on. This is being recorded on May of 2025, and we're also on Jed TV, my streaming video. So if you hear the cars, the trucks, sometimes they will beep as they go along. So I know it sounds, people are like, what happens is they're listening to the podcast in their car, and then they turn around like somebody beeped at them. It's probably here. Yeah. So I have a question for you. You've opened up the store. You've done all the basic market testing and so forth. So there's a market for your thing. Right. You're at the point, let's not localize it to any specific product or service. How do you get 100 customers in 30 days? Go.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's going to sit in their store and just go, all right, let's open the doors and hopefully they come. However, that's what happens, right?
All the
time. They're like, oh, well, I'm open, I have this location. And I see this very often. I saw there was a Lens Crafters the other day that was literally back behind the back of the building, and I thought, nobody can see this. I didn't even know this was here. But I was going to Panera over in Cherryville, and I I saw there was a Lens Crafters on the back side of the building, and I thought, that's a difficult location, right? So if people don't know where you're at, one, they're going to be looking at the front of the building, and two, how do you get them to the back side of it to see it, right? So there's a million different things you can do. So I just started brainstorming ideas the other day, and I thought, well, let's just start with the sidewalks that are out front, right? So if you're in a town square or something like that, or in a very walkable kind of area, let's use the sidewalks. And then I realized, I'm like, well, I won't. I was thinking chalk, and I went, no, I don't have any money. Right, I can't spend $1 on this, so I'm sitting there and I'm going, all right, what do I do? Right, I don't have $1. I can't go steal my kids' chalk, from when they were little.
$0.
$0 whatsoever.
Everybody's got chalk. You don't, because you haven't had kids yet, have you?
Yeah.
But I have all sorts of chalk.
Right.
And I would cheat and take it out of my garage, but you can't use that.
Can't use that. So then I thought, I'm like, well, what are we going to use? We're going to go grab a rock, right? Do you remember when you were a kid and you took a rock and you could write on the concrete, whether it was like a river rock or like one of those, like the orange rocks? Each one of them will make a mark on the sidewalk. And I thought, there you go. You have a rock. You can literally go out there and just start writing messaging throughout the neighborhood, throughout the area. Now get creative with it. And I mean, that is as archaic as we possibly can get, right? But what happens is it's unique. People don't necessarily, right? And I've seen recently, people will take templates and they'll power wash with it. So the clean part is actually the part that goes through the template. And then, so you power wash your logo or a message into the sidewalk. Now, I know that's, again, we're getting back to you need a power washer and water and all this stuff.
That might be acceptable.
Okay, so we're going to accept that. All right, I appreciate that.
You already have it as part of the business to do your windows or whatever,
right. So what I'm saying is the sidewalks can be, you're not damaging the sidewalk. It's going to wash away in time, that kind of thing. So as it's raining today, half of it's probably gone already.
Right.
If you use the chalk, it's definitely gone. But
if you listen to this podcast, and Tatunda is, I guess, kind of newer to what we're doing here and so forth, but a very common theme is partnering with other businesses. Personally, I hated this part of it. Now I'm partnering with the Times, with other sports organizations and so forth. So to some extent, you opened up my eyes that that's the way to do it, because I'm not spending any money, they're not spending any money, and we're both getting huge amounts. Like I'm getting a bunch of content this way that I'm not paying for. Same thing with the podcast network. Part of it is for us to get, low-priced content for our TV station and our radio stations. But those kind of collaborations, you're brand new. How do you get people to collaborate with you?
Yeah, I think you just need to go out there and, again, going even back to our last podcast with Tatunda, like understanding who you're talking to and going, all right, what are other companies that they're utilizing? Maybe it's another restaurant, maybe it's another business, a complementary business to what you do. Sit down and look at who you want to target, and then go, all right, what are the types of companies that they will use on a daily basis or on a weekly basis? Then just start knocking on doors. Just go up, introduce yourself. I'm a new business down the street. We have very similar customers. I would love to do some kind of collaboration with you. If it's a florist and a restaurant, putting the two together, I mean, you could develop some kind of, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, whatever it is, kind of collaboration. I know we've mentioned partnering with Curves, which is a women's only workout place. 98% of our old family business was women. Partnering those two together in a collaboration worked really well. So just knocking on doors. I mean, some people are going to say no, but really what you're going out there and saying is, I'm going to have the same customers as you, so let's work together to really kind of make this go. And it doesn't have to be one. You could have 10 collaborations going all at once. And if you get, let's say, 3 customers from each of those 10, you're at 30 customers right there, right? Right out of the gate. And we're only talking about one of these things that we're
30 days to get 100 customers. So let's use your business, okay? And in the previous podcast, we did to Tunda and just kind of analyzed what he's doing. But he has a sobriety brand that he has a lot of followers. And think of somebody you could collaborate with.
Are we talking about locally or just anybody?
Anybody.
Well, so your farm is everywhere, right? We talk about kind of our farm, where we're finding our customers.
Okay.
You're pretty much everywhere because we consider you kind of a micro influencer through Instagram and TikTok. So yeah.
Who would you? I mean, what comes to your mind? And this could be a dream. Like, say, I'd like to have some sort of relationship with X. Who would that be, or what would that be?
I mean, I dream I want to partner with Nike one day. You know, I just like.
I knew that was coming.
I do want to partner with Nike one day, but
explain.
I don't know. I just love Nike. I love what they do. I'm wearing Nikes right now. It's like
I noticed.
I don't know. Just they have a big reach, and everybody loves Nike. You know,
and there is people that are moving into the sobriety lifestyle that are wearing Nikes.
Yeah, and Nike has a fitness style to it, so it's like, why not combine those two and make a sobriety, apparel?
So go ahead.
Where I would go with it is I would find another. You talked fashion brand last time. Yeah. I would find another fashion brand that's out there and do a collaboration with them, based on you've got the audience. You've built some fashion into your brand so far, but do a collaboration with somebody else that already has a much bigger audience. And even if it's just an advertising opportunity where they're keeping the money for what they sell, it's still getting your brand out there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Right? So that costs you literally nothing. You're saying, I'm going to bring my, thousands of followers over, and you can literally start to test those markets and say, okay, is there an apparel side to this? I mean, why not? If it's one or two shirts.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think.
What do you have to lose, right?
You're
not spending any money here because we have no money. We're writing with rocks here. So
so let's think this through. Right now, you're listing all your stuff yourself, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So this is nice. All right. So what's the lesson there? That you have a brand, and he's calling you a micro influencer, but you got followers, right? And these fashion brands just want to get in front of your followers one way or another. What would they said, all right, we want to do something with you. What would you tell them?
I tell them, let's do it.
So, but what specifically do you think you would be able to come up with an idea to offer them? Why don't I do blank? And I think that's what it's not so much the answer that I'm looking for. I think it's a process of what Matt Hansen has opened up my eyes. I don't want to deal with people, and I don't want to deal with other people's inefficiencies and ineptitude. You know what I mean? And people who aren't serious.
That's true.
You just they don't get it, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to open yourself up to that question. I know you're looking at me like, God, I don't really know what the answer is. Well, there isn't an answer. The answer is the process in my mind.
So I think for the listeners, the lesson here is that you have thousands of people following you, and you said, yeah, I'd be completely open to collaborating on something.
Yeah.
How many people have reached out to you to collaborate?
Actually, a lot of people.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but you listen to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really a lesson to understand that people are reaching out to you and saying, hey, I would love to do a collaboration. You can pick with who you want to collaborate with, but I think people, they'll never pay attention to me. Well, if I send you a message, you're probably going to respond unless it's completely crazy, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody comes in and says, hey, we want to do a collaboration effort, we hear you just launched your new brand, we'd love to do some kind of limited edition shirt or hat or something, limited to, let's say, 100 or 500, we're going to collaborate with you, take your brand, put it on there, and we'd like to sell it through. So then we share in the revenues and that kind of stuff. Like that to me costs you $0, right? It costs them some money, but what we're saying is these partnerships allow us the opportunity to look for new markets, new audiences that somebody else has. That's the biggest thing that I think people need to understand is somebody is already selling to the people you want to talk to. So just go talk with them, right? What could we do? What kind of fun things could we make happen? And even if it's something where you're not selling anything, you're just getting the awareness, that's really where the customers are going to come from. Now they know who you are.
Can we talk about that word? The awareness, the sales funnel? We have to review on this. The Matt Hansen sales funnel only has 3 steps. You go on Salesforce, it has 11. I've seen them as high as 16 steps in the whole thing.
I think they're like 80 at this point.
Yeah, but anyways, it's 3, awareness, consideration, and then finally close or customer at the bottom of the funnel. So I know we're limited on time, so let's get out of that. And let's say you can't spend any money. Where do you go online, Professor?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've mentioned it a million times. Build your Google business profile. Obviously it's free. You need to put that out there. Get your website in there. Start posting content on there. Get imagery up there. You have tons of videos. Get your videos up there. Even take that collaboration that we're talking with other partners in the area, put them into those videos and imagery and share back and forth. So if you're putting images up there of you and the restaurant next door, hopefully the restaurant next door is also putting those same images up on their Google business profile. So it's the sharing of the collection there. But it's free. And if you're going to be found locally, you've got to be on that Google business profile.
Other than buying ads on Facebook, which is, once again, even if it's a penny, is not allowed in this. How do you use Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, you can create a Facebook group out there. You can lock it down. I mean, I know when you get into your consulting, odds are you're going to end up having some kind of way to talk to the masses, whether it's a platform that's off of Facebook or in Facebook. But realize that you can go into Facebook, join different groups. I'm on some podcaster groups. I'm in some real estate groups. There's all kinds of different things, marketing groups. But provide some value, right? So find some local ones. Look up local towns that are by you. They've got different groups for different reasons, whether it's looking for deals or it's parents that parents at a university, right? Like their kids go to the university or whatever. There's a group for pretty much everything. So if you're providing value out there and you're consistent with you're going out there and you're providing answers over and over and over again, people start to know you and you start to become a top contributor within those groups, and then people know you, right? So if you've got something local and you just move into a town, your store is launched, you get in those groups and you start sharing and really just use it to have conversations with people, they'll start to notice you a little bit more.
So we're talking about bricks and mortars stores right now, and this, if you're driving around on listening live on the radio, it's 30 days to 100 customers and no budget. Here in Northwest Indiana, I just analyzed this, that it's about 45,000 bricks and mortars businesses in the 3 counties that we cover mostly. Many of them have storefronts. What do you tell them about the actual storefront?
Well, the storefront, you've got to get noticed. I look at storefronts all the time, and I say you've got to draw the eye in, right? So you see a lot of these buildings where you put your sign out front, and the sign has to be a drab color. You can't put your normal colors. Yeah. And I sit there and I go, that's not good. Right, like nothing stands out there. So if you can't have the signs stand out, what else is there? And many people have a window, right? So we used to do a lot with just the window displays and how do you get people kind of noticing that. During Christmas, we used to do an animated Christmas window display just to draw people in. They would walk over and see that. And, we didn't spend a fortune on that. And I know we can't spend any dollars here. But could you do something in the window? Could you do some kind of activity? I mean, I don't know. Do you get up there and start acting something out? Could you have fun? I need to paint the outside, but I'm not ready to paint it yet. Could the first 100 customers all sign their name to the front of the store right before we paint it, right? So have some fun, do something that nobody else is doing, and why not, right? Like, what's it going to hurt? So your first customer gets a sign real big, and people are walking up like, what's with the signatures on the wall? Everyone that signs for the first 100 gets to sign our wall, and it's going to be sealed in paint permanently from here on out. It's a story, right? And that's what we're all doing, is telling stories.
Referral programs, you can spend money on them.
You can, but we don't have money, right? So we don't even have a penny for this project. So a customer comes in. First thing you got to ask them is who else could benefit from what we're providing here? And just start talking to them about it. Can you give me an email of somebody that really would love this deal or this product? Can you point me in the direction? If you run a business where you do a lot of phone calls, can I have their phone number and just call them and say, hey, this person recommended you. Here's what we're providing as a service. Use referrals, because every single person that is happy with your company is going to provide referrals. I was sitting 2 weeks ago, I was talking with one of the marketing people from AT&T, and she was talking to me about, we just got AT&T fiber and all this other stuff. And so I guess I'm giving him a plug here.
Right.
But, I was talking to her about it, and I said, best service I've had in years. The thing is never down. It's fast as can be. It actually overproduces, right? And that's unique to my neighborhood. We have brand new lines and all that. But she's like, man, if I could just get you to refer. And I started laughing. I go, I just did. I actually referred somebody last month. I got a credit. And she's like, you are the person that we want to get out there in front of everyone and telling everyone how this is going. So referrals are huge. Start asking the question, like, do you have a sister, a mom, a dad, somebody that could really use this service? Let us know. Let's add to the list, and we'll start pushing some of that content out.
So you do get some customers that like what you're doing. Mm-hmm. We haven't localized the service or product, and you want to put them online. How do you do that?
Well, I think the biggest thing, we talk about Tatunda here, is really social. Let them go, right? Like, give them the tools and let them go. Have you ever thought about just turning over your social channels to one of your customers? Just like, let them go. Just give them access for a day and just say, hey, we're gonna let you go. Like, share photos, share videos, talk about the store, talk about the restaurant, whatever it is, what your favorite things are. We're going to give you 24/7 access for one day or 1 week or whatever it is. And you see a lot of people doing this where it's like, that's not the owner. Who is this person? And it's interesting because you start to hear things from that customer that you might not have understood, right? Things that they love about your business that you can then take and put into your marketing. And not enough people do this. And you can do this by literally doing it with them. See, I understand people don't want to give away their passwords and things like that, but just sit down and say, all right, we're going to give you the tools to just go out there and share your experiences with us. And we're not going to give you any guidelines. It could be good, bad, just tell us what you like. And, the last podcast we talked about authenticity and being real. That's what we're talking about here, is be real. And, again, we've given this 30 days to 100 customers. We are not talking about people here that are going to sit in their store and just go, oh, they'll come eventually. Like, they're going to walk through the doors. We are talking about go-getters here, right? We are talking about people that want to make their business work. I realize that that's not everyone that is listening, right? Oh, I can't do that, right? And that's perfectly fine. What we're saying is, if you're and remember the story that I led up with making $1 million in a year and something bad would happen. Imagine that after 30 days, if you don't have 100 customers, you have to close. That changes the whole perception, right? I need to get to 100 or this thing closes and I just put thousands of dollars into this store. You should always think like that, because that's going to drive you to actually, much bigger returns, get you to where you want to be. Too often I see companies that start something and are like, yeah, we're just kind of cruising. We don't know where we're going. They have no goal, right? And I always say that to my students is, If you have no goal, if you have no destination of where you're going, I can get in my car and drive in any direction, and I'm going to end up wherever I end up, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to end up home or in a successful place of where I want to be. But we have a plan before we get into anything. And with this, if you don't literally sit down and start to understand that if I don't get 100 customers in the next 30 days, this is going to hurt my business. It's literally a mind trick.
That is what I wanted to basically summarize here, is that you're not just talking about specific ideas, Google, business, and all of these things need to be taken advantage of, but really it is a connection with that person who understands I can't just open up, I have to market. That's a small percentage.
I know.
It's a really small percentage. We know because we sell ads to local companies, and I know when I'm coming in and I have to describe that they should be marketing, I'm done. I haven't done that in years. I'm done. If you don't think you should be marketing, I have nothing to say to you. Everybody should, but not everybody does, and it is a large percentage of stores that open, and since a lot of people aren't marketing, correctly or passionately, then the communication is, the competition isn't all that strong, and they might make it that way by not marketing. But then there's the one person who disrupts the whole market by getting a bunch of social media followers and doing innovative things. That's the point. You should be that person.
Yeah. You've got to be inviting. You've got to do these things out there in the public. And I would say probably 70% of small businesses think, oh, well, we do enough marketing. And really, you're not even remotely close to doing everything that you should be doing. And I get it that we need to sleep and eat and all these other things, but you have to have a plan. You have to get out there. And what I always said is, if I'm sitting behind the cash register waiting for somebody to walk in, there's no point in having the cash register there, right? Get outside and start getting them through the door. You can put somebody behind a cash register once they get in the door. But if they're not walking through that door, you might as well put the cash register back in your garage at home because you're not selling anything.
He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Diedlow, Jed. We are doing it live on radio and TV today from May of 2025. Tatunda has joined us. He was actually on the previous episode, and he's just kind of watching me and Matt Hansen go back and forth with all of
taking it all in.
Yeah, you're taking it all in, man. And that's what the whole point of the podcast is that you might get one thing out of each segment that kind of applies to your business, and that's all we're trying to do. Anything else there, Professor?
Nope. Just keep chiming in with all of your different ideas. We'll see where we go moving forward, but I love all the feedback that we're getting, and if you've got an idea, let us know.
And once again, if you are live or on the video, go to Apple, Spotify, wherever. You can also get the video portion on Jed TV and on YouTube. I'm a big podcast audio only person, and I understand that, and that's on a lot of different platforms right now, and it's getting some traction. Please like it. Please tell other people if you have a business, especially if it's a small to medium sized business, that you need to listen to this.
The Mastering Local Marketing Podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing.